I just was irresponsible, man. I was taking books.
You were taking what?
Scratch off.
Okay.
I'm just ready to pay it back.
We're gonna take it to our station and we'll take it from there, okay? Cut you a deal.
Thank you, boss.
On January 18th, 2025, Broward County Sheriff's deputies responded to a Walmart after an employee stole over $40,000 through systematic lottery ticket fraud. This case presents critical issues in constitutional law, interrogation tactics, and prosecutorial discretion that every citizen should understand.
Let me talk to you. Do you have any brown baggage? Alright, so what happened?
I just was irresponsible, man. I was taking books.
You were taking what?
Scratch off.
Okay.
I took them and I was scanning them out to activate the books.
Okay.
And I would go and redeem them.
Where do you go to redeem them?
Publix. Publix.
Publix? Is there a specific location? Or
No, I was just various Publix.
which one was the last Publix you used?
I honestly, I don't remember. I've done it
When did you start?
December.
How much money in total was used?
40,000.
40,000.
Yeah.
What did you do with the money?
Honestly, invest in my business, pay bills.
How much money you make here?
Every week, 400.
400 every week?
Not every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, $400?
Yeah.
How are you surviving that? It's not an excuse to do
No. I get it. It's just.
You working part-time here?
Yeah.
You have kids?
No.
You have a girlfriend? You live together? Because she works?
She works.
Okay, so it's tough. I don't know if I can find me $200 now. $200.
Yeah,
That $2,000. $400 every 2 weeks. How many hours you work here?
I was working 30 hours a week, but after Christmas, like most jobs, I always got cut.
So let me ask you, why did you do that?
Needed the money to.
So on a regular basis, how many tickets you will scratch to get?
It would be like 5 to 6.
5 to 6. And how much money you win that way tickets on average?
A couple thousand.
3,000. And you started in December, and today is January 18, and you already racked on $40,000. Because if you've been doing this almost every day you come here, you know you're still money from the state, right? Not just from Walmart.
I know. I'm just ready to pay it back.
Okay. And total $40,500 December. When was the last time you took some?
Last time
Last week? Yeah, last week. How much money was that?
I'm not. Probably like 2,000.
So you never been arrested?
No.
Are you on probation right now?
Never.
I mean, I'm not saying it's good. It's not
No.
bad.
Listen, I was the same way I was.
The street.
The same way I was with them in there. Like I'm just.
You're not a bad person. You just make bad decisions.
Yeah, that's why.
So just learn from it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take you to our station and we'll take it from there. Okay? Cut you a deal.
Thank you, boss.
See? Anyone? Alright.
All right, Mr. Detective Gilmore. The deputy that I guess made contact with you, Deputy Charles. You read your Miranda?
Yeah.
All right, and you want to talk to me about what happened?
So basically, I worked at the liquor store, and for the last month and a half, I was scanning in scratch-off tickets and taking.
Explain that. What do you mean scanning in?
So I'm not scanning it, activating. Like
someone purchased them.
When I say activating, I mean like activating the book itself, and basically I would take them after being activated, because once it's activated you can scan it and cash it out and everything like that, and I was cashing them out at various places.
Okay, when did you start doing this?
It's been about a better half of 2 months, I think. 2-3 months.
So in November?
Yeah.
Before Thanksgiving?
I want to say yeah.
And this is all at the same place?
Yes.
What kind of lottery tickets?
500. The $50 orange, $50 500 times cash.
So you pay $50 for a ticket?
Yeah.
Each ticket costs $50?
Yes.
$50 tickets. And what's it called? $50?
500 times cash. X cash.
Alright, so I'm not gonna lie to you, they got video of you doing all this. How much do you think you took in 2.5 months?
Well, like the number of amount of tickets? Or I mean the number of scratch offs?
The number amount of tickets, the value, you know, each ticket's $500, so 10 tickets is $5,000.
So I had $40,000 worth.
$40,000
is what I was told. Yes.
You were told?
Yeah.
How much is in a book or a block?
Each book costs $1,500.
$1,500? And how many books did you take?
I don't know that by heart.
So that would be what, 30 books? How big is a book?
It's like this.
It's like that, half an inch to an inch?
Yeah.
So, and you take one each time, or what you do?
I take a couple, so 4 to 6 each time.
4 to 6? And so that would be, that's $9,000 a time.
Yeah.
How many times did you do it, do you think?
I did it too often to tell the exact number.
Okay, well, I will be able to tell you once I get all the video. 'Cause
Okay.
they said they got you back doing it for months, and they estimated
$40,500.
$40,500 what they estimated.
Yeah.
And this is all from that Walmart liquor store? Anyone else do it?
No.
What did you do with the tickets?
Cash them out.
Where?
Publix's.
Any Publix? What Publix?
Any Publix.
Particularly, where do you usually go?
I didn't have a specific area that I stuck to.
Did you ever stick to one Publix?
No.
I mean, like, consistently go to that one like 5 times and not just random?
No. It's just at random.
You didn't go to like one at your house a lot?
No.
The initial detention in the parking lot raises our first constitutional question. Did officers have legal authority to stop this individual? Under Illinois v. Gates, probable cause exists when facts and circumstances would lead a reasonable person to believe a crime occurred. Here, Walmart's loss prevention report, video surveillance, and documented losses establish clear probable cause for arrest. The suspect immediately confesses without Miranda warnings. This presents a critical Fifth Amendment analysis. Miranda v. Arizona requires advisement of rights only during custodial interrogation, when a reasonable person would not feel free to leave. Berkemer v. McCarty clarified that brief investigative detentions don't automatically trigger Miranda requirements. However, at the sheriff's office, the suspect was clearly in custody. A formal interview without documented Miranda advisement creates risk. If this case went to trial, defense counsel could move to suppress these statements as violations of the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. The detective's interview technique demonstrates modern best practices in law enforcement interrogation. By revealing video evidence early, he eliminated incentive to minimize the crime while maintaining the suspect's voluntary cooperation. Asking for clarification between scanning and activating established precise criminal elements necessary for prosecution. This methodical approach follows the PEACE model: planning, engage, account, closure, evaluate. Under Florida Statute 812.014, theft becomes grand theft, second degree, when property value exceeds $20,000. This is a third-degree felony carrying up to 5 years in state prison under Florida Statute 775.082. The suspect's admission of $40,500 stolen placed him squarely within this felony classification. Prosecutors could have charged additional offenses: organized scheme to defraud, lottery fraud under Florida Statute 24.105. The decision to charge only grand theft reflects prosecutorial discretion, focusing on the clearest, most provable offense. This tactical choice streamlines prosecution, encourages plea negotiations, and avoids overcharging that could appear vindictive.
And what happens with that? You just go there and they give you the money? So if you have, well, if you get $9,000 a book, and say half of them win, how much is that?
What do you mean? Like how much?
You pay $50 a ticket, and if you win, what do you get? $500 or more?
Sometimes it'll just be 100. Sometimes it'll just be 500. It's just 100 to a 500 at the most.
How much do you think you got total on cashing these things out?
I think that amount is right. 40,000.
40,000?
Yeah.
But if you took $40,500 worth of tickets, it's got, you must have got more than that.
I'm not I don't know the numbers.
Right.
I'll say this. I did everything, but I don't know the numbers of like the exact amount to the dollar.
And they give you cash?
Yeah.
What do you do with the cash?
Pay bills.
Don't you put it in a checking account or anything?
Yeah.
What checking account did you put it in?
My Chase Bank account.
Chase Bank?
Yeah.
What bank do you bank at?
Chase.
No, I mean which bank?
What do you mean?
Which branch?
Oh, I don't have a specific branch.
Where'd you open your account?
I want to say Pines Boulevard in Sunrise.
Pines Boulevard?
Yeah.
There's no Pines Boulevard in Sunrise.
Okay. Damn. I get laughed at all the time about how bad my directional skills.
Do you remember what
So,
city? You remember what city?
It should be Plantation. So, okay. Are you familiar with the Plantation area?
Sort of.
Okay. So, do you know where Broward Mall is?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Chase that's in that area.
Over by Fridays? Or
Yes.
down by 595?
Right Fridays.
I'm just guessing there's a Chase there because everything is in that little block.
Yeah. No, there is. I know you're probably looking for a different way to explain that, but
How much money you have left?
nothing right now. I just spent maybe $1,000 or $4,000, probably $4,000 at most. Yeah.
Did you do it with anybody else at all?
No, me.
No. There was no accomplices. You're not giving the tickets to anybody. You're not selling them.
No.
How'd you come up with this idea?
I just thought about it random day. How do I get more money? I did it myself.
What, you on TikTok or something?
No.
Television?
I did it.
Just very creative?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
You ever been arrested?
Nope. Never. Not once.
Who do you live with?
I don't live anywhere. I live with my spouse and at her house. Not her house, but her family member's house.
Are you legally married?
No.
You live with your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright.
The suspect's complete cooperation likely influenced the ultimate disposition significantly. First-time nonviolent offenders who accept responsibility often receive probation rather than incarceration. However, his failure to invoke Fifth Amendment rights or request counsel before providing detailed admissions was legally risky. While cooperation earned goodwill, it also provided prosecutors with overwhelming evidence, eliminating any trial defense. The court imposed withheld adjudication, a unique Florida sentencing mechanism that deserves careful explanation. The defendant enters a plea, but the court does not formally convict. Instead, he's placed on probation with conditions. Successful completion means no formal felony conviction. He retains voting rights, firearm rights, and employment opportunities. But probation violation allows the court to revoke this status and impose the full 15-year maximum sentence. This structure balances accountability with rehabilitation, punishment with restitution while offering redemption for first-time offenders. Restitution of $40,500 is mandatory under Florida law for theft convictions. This compensates the victim while holding the defendant financially accountable for the harm caused. However, the suspect admitted only $4,000 remained. Full restitution within 5 years may prove difficult. Failure to pay could constitute a probation violation, triggering the maximum sentence despite good behavior otherwise. Now, let's evaluate each party's performance using specific legal and tactical standards. Detective Youngwood receives a grade of A-. His interview was professional, methodical, and produced complete documentation. He systematically established timeline, method, amount, and disposition of funds through strategic questioning. His rapport-building approach encouraged truthfulness without coercion, exemplifying modern interrogation standards. The minor deduction reflects ambiguity surrounding Miranda advisement during custodial interrogation at the sheriff's office. Best practice requires documented advisement and waiver, creating clear records that statements were knowing and voluntary. The suspect received C+. Immediate cooperation and truthfulness likely contributed to his lenient sentence. However, providing detailed admissions without legal counsel was extremely risky from a constitutional rights perspective. The underlying criminal conduct in spending $40,000 in 2 months demonstrates catastrophic judgment. His post-arrest cooperation showed recognition of wrongdoing, but failing to protect Fifth Amendment rights warrants criticism. Broward County Sheriff's Office receives an A grade for professional, thorough, and legally sound investigation. Effective partnership with loss prevention led to swift apprehension based on video evidence and documented losses. Professional demeanor throughout secured cooperation without coercion. Bodycam documentation protects both parties' interests. The investigation produced appropriate charges and successful prosecution balancing accountability with rehabilitation opportunity. 3 critical lessons emerge from this case that apply to law enforcement and citizens alike. First, constitutional rights exist to protect everyone, not just the guilty. Invoking Fifth Amendment rights is not an admission of guilt. Even innocent people should consult attorneys before speaking to police in felony investigations. Rights unused are rights lost. Second, modern interrogation techniques prioritizing rapport over confrontation produce better results for justice. Professional, empathetic approaches encourage truthfulness while respecting human dignity and constitutional protections. Third, withheld adjudication demonstrates how the justice system can balance punishment with redemption. First-time nonviolent offenders who accept responsibility deserve opportunities for rehabilitation without permanent felony consequences. But this mercy comes with strict accountability. Violation results in severe penalties that would otherwise not apply. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content.